Hello, VOD people. How are you? I hope you have a good day. We're gonna try and move into this pretty quick. I haven't even pulled up music. I need to do that. I'm gonna try and quickly get through the song and dance, but I still gotta do the little notification and everything, so it's still gonna take a second. I gotta get music up for current people who are in stream. I made sure sound alerts were working beforehand this time. And every time it does a sound alert, it sends a chat message, so that's why above me, there's the bots. Alright, announcements, there we go. At everybody. Stream time. We gotta get the hammer today. That's the plan. I need to get this hammer done, otherwise I'm gonna stream randomly sometime next week so we can get it done. Today. And then also, where's my little... There we go. I'm having fun with the thumbnails for this. The thumbnails I've been doing for Amalgamation have been fantastic, and I've been adoring making them. But yeah, I'm pretty sure... I don't remember if we got the 2 blocks that I need. This is a little dark, hold on. There we go. I'm pretty sure I got the... All I'm missing for the hammer is the 3 blocks of netherite, 3 blocks of netherite, and the 3 ingots, so 30 ingots of netherite total. I think we still need another 6 blocks of redstone, and another 2 blocks of diamonds. I don't remember if we got those extra 2 blocks or not. But when we were going through last time, I was not paying attention to my armor. We need to pay attention to my armor. And my helmet broke, so we actually have to spend the first 10-20 minutes here just getting a new helmet. I need a helmet. So we're gonna quickly speed through some mining and get me a new helmet. Because I refuse to do the long looty way of getting me a new helmet. We're just gonna go mine like 3 or 4 copper veins and call it good. Yeah, all of my armor ain't doing well. I should actually restock up on that first. Yeah, I still need 2 blocks of diamond and 6 blocks of redstone, and then I need to get the 30 ingots. But let's... Do I have a crafting table? Yes. Let's first get me a new helmet, which shouldn't require much more than I think that. I do not remember... Is that how you made a helmet? Yeah, okay. I do have, like, a singular piece of netherite scrap that I don't remember what it's from. I don't even remember how I got that. But we have that. Let's move down to the scaly farm. There's not a lot right here. There's not a lot right now, but that's fine. Do I have any left? I do have some leftover copper. I need to save... I'm not sure how much we're gonna get. I'm not sure how much netherite scraps we're gonna get versus actual ingots. I sincerely doubt there's gonna be a singular thing that's a block of netherite. So we're gonna be getting scraps and ingots as loot, and probably mostly scraps. So I don't want to use my gold, but I've been getting a lot of diamonds, so let's use that. And I have a lot of emeralds. I want to see what the emeralds are worth. I never put the ender chest upstairs. Hold on. I don't know where to put you. I really don't, because this spot's taken. I guess right there. It's not, like, super necessary, but I have it. Pretty sure it's in this one. Yep. What is a... Oh, I can't be down here for the skelly farm, right? I have to sit up here. Because then it starts working. Yeah, okay. So how much... A singular emerald is worth 100. How much is a singular diamond worth? 160. Yeah, that's about what I figured. But I can still use this. I have even enchanted the helmet. So that's not useful yet. And we only had 2 and 10. 10 temporary setup, I guess. I didn't want to... It's not like I was going to have an actual storage in here. I might as well make this the enchant setup. Because honestly, I do adore this play run, but I think once we get the hammer, I will be switching over to... We're going to start a new run and see how well I can handle immediately starting with Ascendant mobs. And I want to try a different build as well. I want to add Advanced Netherite, which isn't helpful for Elytrian, but it's helpful for a lot of the other classes that can do better armor. And I'm tempted... I kind of want to keep the weapons. But Advanced Netherite only uses the base game sword. I need to... I placed down the wrong thing. That's the tool leveling table. It's not what we need right now. I need you... No. You... And... You... And then my singular anvil can stay. Yeah. I think this is gonna be the extent of my home, unfortunately. Lapis, there we go. And Protection 4 and Respiration 3. That's not bad. I would like for that to have Unbreaking, because I don't think... Yeah, I have another Mending. I have another... Yeah. Okay, I have Efficiency books, but I don't have any Unbreaking books. And that's kind of important. But I could always get... Because I don't need it to be really good levels at all. Do I have any books? Books, yes. I do have books. And I have the levels to spare for this. I don't need efficiency. There we go, I just need Unbreaking. And if I can even get... it's Aqua Affinity? Because you already have Protection. I need Unbreaking, Mending. I need to go buy Thorns. But I also want the Aqua Affinity. Aqua Affinity... There's Depth Strider, but I still have my boots right now, so that's not super useful. Okay. I just need to get this stupid helmet back. How rare is Aqua? I didn't think Aqua Affinity was this rare. Maybe because I'm in a rush, it's just like, no, we're not going to give you it. No. No, you're not allowed to have Aqua Affinity. I can't disenchant Lapis, there we go. Come on. Aqua Affinity, there we go. Okay. And then I still need one book and emeralds in order to trade for that. So let's check on the spaghetti. Ah, beautiful al dente. Not too laggy. Just right. Actually, let's use some of these levels. Hold on. More into damage. That's gonna give me enough levels. Yeah, I'm already at 20. Put one more into... Yeah, 14. 16. Wonderful. Boop, boop, boop. And I'll come back and collect arrows after we trade. I assume Hein is going to be in his house. There's no reason he wouldn't. Hein, get up. Oh wait, no, I trade you diamonds. I don't know why I thought Hein. I don't know why I thought Hein had my thorns. No, Newton has my thorns. Newton! 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 Why aren't you in your house? Newton! Newton? Is it Newton? Billy Bob, welcome back. Newton! Give me my thorns. Wonderful. A random ass mob broke my helmet last time, so we're getting a new helmet. Let me just boop. Wait, the waystone's right there. I can be bothered to walk over to it. Especially when it's 0 XP for me to travel that far. Home. And now we take the anvil and take mending and breaking. Aqua affinity. 4 or 3? 3. 8. 7. Okay. I don't have the XP for that. Are you kidding me? There's at least one skelly down here. Yes, there is. 14. I need just a little bit more than that. Also, the tea of the day is Thai tea. Or the drink of the day is Thai tea. I've been drinking a lot of my matcha, but I had enough tea bag. I've been drinking a lot of matcha. If I'm not stuttering over myself and struggling to tell any semblance of a story. I've been drinking a lot of matcha, but I've been craving Thai tea, and I had several tea bags left, so I have like a pitcher of Thai tea right now, and it's really good. And that's not where I wanted to go. 16! There we go. And I'm feeling I might have put the music just a tad bit too high, so I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. There you go. And while editing, I realized I actually have the hostile creatures pretty low. So I'm turning it up a little bit so y'all can enjoy spaghetti times with me. And so I'm not the only one suffering. Helmet! And now I just gotta upgrade this stupid thing. Let's throw these materials up here for the moment. So I'm not mixing them up with other things. Yeah, I have no use for diamonds or emeralds right now. I'm gonna eat those words later, but at this current moment, I do not have an explicit use for them. So, first thing, let's get thorns all the way to its max. It doesn't want me to go any farther than that. Unbreaking it to 5, protection to 10, respiration to 5, and now we're moving everything back to unbreaking 10, and okay, we didn't even need to go mining. Cool. I still have emeralds to spare. That is matching the rest of my stuff now. Oh, I had unbreaking at 5 for all my armor. Yeah, we will do a second of mining, so I can move everything to unbreaking 10, because I thought my armor was unbreaking 10. It isn't. That's not good. I'd much rather fix that ASAP. Let's go downstairs real quick. We're no skellies down there. Okay, to the mines. Wait. Nah, it's gonna be, wait, which way do I need to go? I think it's not this way? Not all the way out. I am way too speedy for this. Is it? Yeah, it's this way. This way gets me out. Yeah, this was the first tunnel. There's the skeleton farm. Yeah, this is how I get out of here. I know it is. Come on. There we go. Yeah. Into the caves. Whoop. Where's my copper? Copper. Where's my beloved? Copper? Did I drain this cave of all its copper? Oh, copper. Give me that shit. Yeah. Let me bloop. Oh, I love this ability. Oh, I love it so much. I love this build. I gripe about it so much, but I also love this build so much. So much fun. Boop. 649. How well can that do me? Because I want to get you to unbreaking. Nope. I can't get you to unbreaking 10. Okay, it's gonna be a couple copper veins. Boop. I just need some cop. There's a... I haven't gone down here. I have not gone down here, I don't think. Not sufficiently so. Whooper. I do iron, but iron does not do the same thing with fortune as copper does. It really does it not. Problem is there is no copper down here. Ooh. There is no copper down there. I have to be up here to know. Oh, you only have 60 health? You only have 60? Oh. Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with 60 health. You're chill. It's the 300 people I'm worried about. I had gone, I think, all the way over here the last time I ended mining. Copper. Took a moment. Redstone ain't nearly as good as copper. My beloved, you have returned. I love this so much, and we're already over a stack of copper. Oh, this is great. I don't care about your stupid weakness and slowness. I have my copper. And there's more up there. Give me all of that. Give me oh, even more copper. Oh, big old copper veins, please. Yes, please. Just giant boys. It's not like the huge expansible copper veins, but this'll do. Oh, it will certainly do. Okay, yep, give me my copper. Is that enough to upgrade my unbreaking to 10 on all these? That's 1. That's you. It's barely not enough. I need 3,087, I have 3,047. Can I put like a couple? Yeah, I could put a couple emeralds in there. There we go. Fantastic. And that's unbreaking 10 on everything. Okay. Head back home real quick, drop off to a leveling table, grab my anvil, and unfortunately, back to the stronghold, because that is just straight up the best place for redstone. As horrible it is it is the best place for redstone. Because I refuse... Let me go... I want to go to this one. Because I adamantly refuse... I refuse to go mining. I do not want to do any mining for this. That is like my #1 thing with this entire trial and me trying to get the redstone and trying to get this hammer. I feel like forcing right can't. Jeez. One more hit and I would have broken a totem. Which, not good. I only have 1 more now, because I stupidly broke it in the desert. Wait, does this boat... It has flame, it just doesn't show that it has flame. At least the Ratatouille is really good because of how much health I have. Because it heals a ridiculous amount. Because of how good the saturation and hunger is. Oh yeah, I have weakness right now. Do that so I don't get weakness. Because I'm only doing 10 damage instead of 50 right now. I'm doing a little over 10. I'm doing like 11 or something. Yeah, stay on fire for like 2 seconds, please. The more help I can get, the better. I'm gonna stick around for a second until my weakness is gone. Screw off, dude. Screw off. Thank you. Give me that XP. Get rid of the weakness. Thank you. I cannot be running around with weakness. Especially considering how damn fast I run too. Oh, wonderful. Okay, not this way. Oh, there's a dude right there. Back to the spot. Jeez. I'm still 3 shots to these idiots. Why did lightning strike him? What just happened? What has just occurred? Why did he drop beetroot seeds? I'm not even sure if I want answers to my questions. There's a golden apple in here. There was redstone! There's redstone. Let's pull these back down. Alright. 18 diamonds and 54 redstone on the clock. That's all I need. That's the only things that I got left. It doesn't help this entire place is waterlogged, but I have really good depth strider. So, ooh, right. You don't mess with anything. I shouldn't have been stuck like that at all. Of course it's a dead end. Is it Pride Month? Yes, it is. Poop. How do I get around him? Ah, I know. Skyrim has taught me well. Skyrim has taught me well. I know this strategy. I know what to do. Okay. Is there... I'll take the golden apple. I was hoping for redstone. Why they gotta ruin my dreams like that? I just want some redstone. This is a dead end! I just want... Oh, they got rid of the stupid buttons because the water. Oh, right, button there, can't place. Did I get this one? Yeah, probably. I missed a golden apple, though. Okay, downstairs. Oh, endermite, no. And a skelly that just spawned. No. No. No, you're not allowed to do anything to me. Never. Ever. No. 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 Thankfully, he's far enough away. There we go. Is it better to do glaive on that guy? That's 40 damage. But I also do more damage to the archer, so 167. That's 50, okay. So it's 40 or 50 damage. It's just my choice of how much I want to get done. And I think I... No. Although, does a crit do well? Oh yeah, a crit does well. If I can land it is the only issue. Okay, crits do really well. I just have to be in a safe enough scenario where I can. Is there anything that... Tough. I keep falling for it. Nah, I figured. I remember... I think I'm coming to a point where I've explored just about everything of the stronghold. Except for a few... Wait, actually, this is a good spot for me to go to. There... Why do you have a diamond sword? This goes down to the nether. And the skelly's right there. Screw off. This is actually really good for me to do. There's a whole water dungeon over here that I have never really gone through because it just kind of sucks. And it's full of drowned, but I'm actually at an advantage at this point. I have my bow and really good depth strider. So it doesn't affect me as much as it normally would. I can go through all this really well. And these guys can't, and there's not really any long-range enemies. This is absolutely my element for this run. Like, the flame doesn't work super well as an enchant here, but it don't mean I'm not doing super well. Plus, they're kind of dumb because it's daytime, so they don't actually want to attack anything. Because drowned AI is ridiculous. In a bad sense. Diamonds! I gotta be careful that I don't get caught searching a chest, though, on land. Because that could easily screw me over. Oh, I love that they have it set up like this. Dead end, of course. I don't even think I really need to attack anybody. Like, I can, but I think I'm just gonna attack the drowned anyway, just for the free XP. Anything this way? No. There's literally nothing this way for me at all. Okay, back up. My computer's raging, so stream probably is as well. I don't know how to better aid this. I can turn down the simulation distance even more, which is helpful. I have my max frame rate turned down. I do have VSync on, though. So max frame rate 60. Entity distance, I kind of want to keep that still at 100. But that can also help, so we're turning it down. And my render distance is 10. That's already super low. I feel like I can get away with turning it down to 8. So maybe that is a permanent enough a solution. So we can handle this better. Hello, buddy. Oh wait, if I push them up and if I attack them fast enough, can I just push them above water and then cause? Oh hi, I didn't even see you. And then cause them? Can I push them up above water and then cause them to be on fire? I don't know how well that all works. There's nothing. Nothing this way. Oh, hello. Sing redstone! Oh, lovely. Okay, I feel like this area is definitely worth it. Oh, I'm even faster when I'm crouching. Okay. Crouching plus depth. Swift Sneak plus Depth Strider. If you upgrade both of those, you are set. Like, this is actually faster than me simply walking. Wonderful, okay. I'm gonna continue down this way because the other way was a dead end, and this is probably also gonna be a dead... No? Random room? No, is it a dead... Is this a dead end? It is a dead end. Yeah. Eventually it's gotta be, but these areas have not given me anything good yet. Okay, let's try the next area. What's going on over here? What doing? I already went this way! So, following the rule, there's nothing on this side. I don't know why there's magma there. Down. Into the underground. How was the fall? Diamonds! Redstone! Wonderful. Okay, I almost have enough redstone. I still need another 11 diamonds, though. Which I can definitely get. It's just gonna take me a minute. Oh, there's a baby. Oh, but the baby, he just baby. He literally just baby. He gone. We good. I add more damage. Fucking dead ends everywhere. I know there's a chest around the corner here. Where is it? It's over there. Diamonds. Alright, never mind. That's enough redstone. That's all I need. And those are the last blocks. Now we just need the 2 blocks of diamond. And yeah, I could get that if I mined a singular block of diamond. Oh, fucking. And yeah, I could get that if I mined a singular block of diamond ore, but this is far more fun to loot. And I'm learning way more about these. Then if I come back around in a circle, what's in here? Yes, I have. Which way do I go to get out of here? Let's go. Oh, this is new. This is new. Hello. Goodbye. 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 Goodbye, sir. And you are here as... I'm gonna... Hold on, sir. Do you mind if I can't upgrade damage? I don't have enough. XP. 24, is that enough? Yeah. There's nothing that way for me. Is there anything up here? Dead end? Yeah. Why are there so many dead ends? And that's a dead end. Is this thing over here a dead end? That was cool. I didn't think I'd actually make it doing that, but I did. Is this... Yeah, it's a dead end. There's this one below it. Is this a dead end? This is not where I came... No, this is exactly where I came out of. Is the one above it anything good? No. What's the point of these rooms? It never has anything. There's never... Oh, chest. How do I get to you? How do I get to... Oh, there's a ladder. How... That is how I get to you. Chest, diamond, and a golden apple. Fantastic. I slowly get on there. What over here? Is it a dead end? It's a dead end. Why? I need to go get netherite. I don't need to waste an hour trying to get 10 diamonds. Please. Did I go this way? It's a dead end. And my computer is still throwing a riot. I have done almost everything possible to make this as easy to run as possible. The only thing I can do is turn my render distance down to 2, but I'm not doing that. I'll turn it down to 6. Fine, we'll turn the leaves to fast, because that could genuinely be the problem. Okay. Is it bushy leaves that I needed to fix? Seems like it, because my computer has immediately calmed down. I already checked this. What over here? Is it the dead end, or is it the rest of the place? No, this is the other area. So where did I come from? Oh, I came from up here. I remember now. And go upstairs to this level. Is there anything good in this level? There's something over here. There's more. Is it a dead end? I think it's a dead end. Gee, I just want loot. That's all I want. I just want loot. Let me up. Let me up. Thank you. Go around. My computer's still throwing a riot, by the way. I don't understand what is with it. It's been fine running Minecraft, modded Minecraft for ages, but now it just pitches a fit at any tiny little disturbance. There's a chest. Pretty please. Diamond and golden apple. I don't need the redstone anymore. One more block. Ooh, can I grab... none of that's diamonds. I don't know why there's 5, 6 name tags in there, but there is. Dead end, of course. Boink. 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 Da-doink. Yoink. And no. No. All dead end. Completely useless. Come on, can I just get some more loot? And we're back in this area. I'm hearing silverfish and I don't like it. And this is we've explored all this. At this point, we've explored all of this area, and while it did give me the stuff I need more. I'm not even sure if I can get... I want to go to Black Spirals. I want to go to Black Spirals for Netherite, and I'm not even sure if I can get diamonds there as loot. I'm pretty sure I can get gold as loot, but I don't think diamonds are a common loot source. So I have no choice but to go through the rest of the stronghold in attempts to find literally anything of value. Hello? Knock knock. There's beds. I'll take a bed. I'm gonna assume the other side's the same. Yes, it is. Hello, knock knock. Nope. Knock knock. No diamonds. Knock knock. It's just a tree. Dead end. No, it's not a dead end. Knock knock. Nope. Dead end. What here? Just no diamonds. There's the redstone I wanted, but no diamonds. And I don't even need redstone anymore. It's a dead end. Cheese. Cheese and crackers. I want diamonds. I just need a measly 9. I should reasonably be able to get 9 diamonds from the stronghold. I can squeeze out another 9 diamonds, can't I? I would think so. Diamonds, enchanted god apple, and a golden apple. I'll take it. Nope. Anything up here? No. That's a dead end! Jeez. What? I want to know why there are zombies. Okay. I hate using the free cam, but I was way too curious why the hell I was hearing zombies. Is there anything this way? It's a dead end! Immediately! Foiled again. Anything in here? You. Chest behind me. No diamond. There's an Eye of Ender in here. No diamonds though. And it's a double dead end. Literally nothing for me. Boop. No, I said boop. If I say boop, you gotta get booped. And that's just a child with a sword and armor. No. Get out. Actually, no, I kind of want the XP. Give me the XP. Give me your XP. Thank you. 23, is that enough? One more. Takes about 20 XP every time I go into damage right now, which isn't that bad actually, considering the mobs I'm currently going against. That's a library. Dead end. Why am I not surprised? I think I know why, actually. No diamonds. Knock knock. Eddies. I tried everywhere in this. I didn't go upstairs. How much you want to bet it's a dead end? Is it a dead end? It's not a dead end. It's another staircase, though. Is this a dead end? Because I think I know the answer. And yep. Who would have guessed? The answer is another dead end. Because of course it is. This is like driving through a suburb. It's like 3 major roads and everything else is cul-de-sacs. This way is new. This goes back out. Was that literally everything? No, there's this corridor. There's beds down here. Beds? There's a staircase over here. It's a dead end. I just want a measly 9 diamonds. I have a feeling the nether portion would have my 9 diamonds. But also there was the silverfish incident, and I'm not even sure if the silverfish have actually despawned. But we can try. I edit through the videos after... I edit through streams after I post them. Or more accurately, I edit through streams shortly after I do them, typically. And so I know that the stream has crashed at this point when the silverfish issue happened. And I hate that it did because it was such a funny thing to happen. And there's nothing that could ever replicate it. There were there were dozens of silverfish. And I didn't think it was so much that it would legitimately crash my stream, but it was. Apparently it was. And that's still flabbergasting to me. And just so outrageously funny. I can't even remember which way the stupid silverfish were. Because admittedly, when I'm editing streams, I do skim through a lot of it because I'm typically looking into the stream the day or two after, usually the next day after, if not a day or two later. So I usually have a decent memory of what has happened. No, not this section. I feel like instead of like instead of sneaking around, the sprinting is going to be far better for me. Was it this way? I can't see to confirm. I remember this corridor. Which way was it? Was the silverfish incident over here? No, it was not. That's another dead end. Because it was next to like such an obvious place, that hidden room, it's very easy to find if I want to find it on free cam, which I don't want to. But I'm tempted at the very end of me gathering diamonds here to find it in free cam to confirm, are the silverfish still there? Oh, and Enderman's messing up an Endermite. That's what's going on. Just let me go down. There we go. Up ladder. Is there any way? There's no way that way. Boop. I don't honestly remember where the silverfish happened. Because I swore it was off in this direction, but apparently I'm wildly incorrect on that assumption. Maybe it was upstairs of the nether area? Because there are 2 floors to pick from. Oh, jeez. Are you gonna see me? Yeah. Hold on. Agua. I hate that these guys aren't affected by the water, but everything else in the end is. I feel like that's a major oversight, but then again, it makes sense when it comes to actual gameplay. But if everything else in the end dies by water, I think the ender... Ah, you stupid! I think the endermite should as well. Because that just makes sense. Like, I know it makes gameplay really easy, but it makes sense. And everything still hits me like a truck. It might be a tiny little Japanese truck, but it's still hitting me like a truck. That is still a truck. A golden apple. Fine, I'll take it. Well, was the silverfish this way? No, that's a skelly and that's a endermite. We get out of here. I have learned you do not take on multiple enemies of anything at once. Oh, wait. New area? There's 2 golden apples in here, but there's no diamond. And it's a dead end! There's a lava room and that's it. Was there anything? There's something over here. Nah, it's a dead end! Is there nothing? There's amethyst. It's just ores in here. I don't need that. And that's the way back up. What you? You are an empty room. What you? Loot? Golden apple, I'll take it. Door? Door again? There's a Chest. There's another Eye of Ender. And golden apples that I've missed, I assume. Have I been? I don't think I've been here yet. I don't recognize this room at all. Like, I get it's similar to others. It's a dead end. It didn't matter anyway. Come on, let me escape. I want to break free. It's a dead end. I should just honestly even just go back to the Nether Fortress or find a new Nether Fortress and just loot that for diamonds. Because that's going to be easier than this right now. Because I have drained, like, this entire place. Okay, where is the silverfish room? That's a secret room. I've seen that on Creative Worlds. Where's the silverfish room? Because I just want to know that, because it was so funny. Please, I just want to see the silverfish room. There it is. How did we even get over here? Is the silverfish still there? No, my water's still back there. How did you even get over there? There's that? What? How does that... Wait, what? I've lost it. I've lost... Okay. This was the silverfish room. You come through here. Is this... It connects the... It was that room we were just in. But... Wait, no? What? It's the end of that corridor. Okay. Hold on. I need to see... I need to see if the silverfish are there, because I'm too far out of range to see if the silverfish are actually still there. No, they've all despawned. I feel like to finish this area, I just want to see... Oh, dear. No. No. You suck. You suck. You suck. I have to keep an eye on my armor so much. Would this been just a dead end as well? I was at a dead end anyway. Okay. Very stupid. Alright, Nether portal. We go into the Nether. We're gonna find a new Nether fortress so I can steal some diamonds. And then we'll see how bad the black spirals are. As long as I'm somewhat near 0-0, we shouldn't be that bad. But it might also be bad. Ghostbuster. What? Put on some chain armor and use it to dispel a restless spirit. Wait, what? That's a thing? Who knows? Who learns this? Who knows this? There are these, like, annoying vexes in this biome, and I hate them, and they're just, like, retextured to be a spirit. Or just, like, a little floating particle. Since when was that? What? What? Okay. I'm gonna go looting. I'm gonna go. I thought I saw a thing. No, I'm just saying more of the Nether fortress. Okay. Okay, lovely. We're gonna get out of here. Yep. What's over this way? It's gonna be horrible fog because of my render distance down so the stream doesn't crash. So I'm just gonna face first into a building, like a bird into a window, but it's fine. No, I'm not salty about this. What are you saying? What do you mean? Definitely not. Oh, there's a black spiral, yeah. That's where we want to go. Is there anybody even... There's, like, no one here. Hold on, if there's no one here, like, legitimately, we go. We decimate this. It's because I have been here. It's because I have gone here. That's why. That's why that would be the case. Yeah, we've already gone through this one. I mean, nothing's stopping us from just breaking in real quick. I did say, in order to handle these, I'm definitely gonna have to be like a full-on thief. and stalk my way in. I cannot be attacked, I cannot be seen, I will just be destroyed if I'm ever seen. I cannot actually handle... I don't want to know what a piglin brute does to me. Because I have a feeling it's not going to be great. Just a sneaking suspicion that it won't be. And I'm absolutely going to use their hitboxes against them. There we go. Okay. We have gold. I don't need gold anymore. I should have come here for my gold, actually. Because I feel like this counts as loot. Oh, sir. You're not allowed to come in here when I'm looting. Because of the way the like, I wouldn't consider that loot in the stronghold, which I don't. But I consider it loot in here simply because of the way these towers are set up. Oh, there's brutes. Yeah, we're just... No. No. Because of the way these towers are set up, the rooms are empty, or they have random sets of loot in it. Or random enemies. I feel like gold blocks in these towers counts as loot. Like, this counts as good loot. Because it could also not have the gold blocks. While the stronghold, it's much more of like, hey, this is part of the room, this is part of our stronghold. It can be seen as loot. I don't feel like that's, because of how often it happens, I don't feel like that's accurate loot. That's not a really good chest, unfortunately. Sometimes these can have black spiral. Sometimes these can have black spirals. Sometimes these can have netherite, and that's the #1 reason I'm going through this. They can have netherite or ancient debris in them, and it's the #1 reason I want to be here. Okay. There's nothing in here. I have some XP, so add into damage again. Let's try over here. See if I can get at a glimpse. There's a hoglin spawner in there. Is there any loot? There we go. There's an enchanted golden apple. And gold and diamond armor. I can't use any diamond armor, and I need netherite. There's a brute. But that also means this could have good loot in it. Because the enemies and loot are random. Because you see an enemy doesn't mean there's gonna not be loot. But if you see like certain stacks of loot, there might not be a chest. Kind of situation. It's pretty randomized from what I'm aware. It's probably like preset rooms and preset things if you come to recognize it, but I have not gotten to that point yet. And the brutes just randomly spawn anyhow. Okay, is there a chest in here? No. Okay. There's still a few levels up above I want to check. Ooh, this is actually a really good spiral. The black spirals can have anywhere between, like, 1 spiral, and I've seen a maximum of, like, 8 before. There's a chest. Ancient debris. And there's more gold blocks and iron blocks. I just care about ancient debris. And netherite. Okay, math 30. I need 120 ancient debris. I need 30 ingots, that's 120 ancient debris, so this is gonna be a minute. I'm really, really tempted to just let myself go mining for ancient debris, because no matter what, this is going to take a minute, and my hammer would be faster. Not marginally so, but my hammer would be faster than simply slowly excavating these places. Nothing. But if it's gonna be the same either way, I'd rather get a little bit of content out of it, you know? Have a little bit more fun with it. And then this was the Hoglin spawner that I didn't bother with. So that means the rest of this has gone through. What's going on over here? There's nobody in it, in this level at least. Is there a level lower? No. If you see, like, Blackstone underneath Blackstone, then you know it's not a level below, because it will always have slabs, these Blackstone brick. If you see Blackstone under Blackstone, it's the bottom layer, because the other layers you'll see the brick underneath the Blackstone. Hello? I see a chest. Am I allowed to just take? There's a lodestone, but I don't need that! Weep. Oh yeah, these guys can sometimes spawn outside. That's lovely. Where did he go? He went to the next zip code. Yeah, there's the blaze spawner. I'm at 33. Okay. I do not want to touch my speed ever again. We're going into attack speed. I do not ever want to touch my speed ever again. I'm already dealing with what I have right now. There's a chest, and it's not got anything good. Okay. Like, this is gonna be just as bad as trying to find diamonds on the stronghold, unfortunately. It's a losing battle no matter what I do. Unless I want to just completely pre-cam X-ray through all of this, which I'm not gonna do. I feel like that is far too cheaty. Anything in here? There's another warp, but that's it. Unless there's a little chest hidden. Nope. What is this song? What is playing? Of course, it's that. I keep trying to remove that album from this playlist. There's a Chill Beats album that I don't like that's in here. And I don't know why I always add it back. Because I go through Chill Beats again. I'm like, oh, let me add that. That's a cool album. No, it isn't. I don't really like it myself. There we go. I found the rest of them. They've been removed from the stream playlist. I don't have to worry about that again. Take a sip of my stupid tea. Okay. And we went through that level. There's a brute chilling right there, so we're gonna get out. Is there anything? Yep. There's 1, 2, 3. Ooh. And it might even go farther than that. There's more over here. Ooh la la. Right. And the only thing I have to keep me safe this time, I can't use a water bucket in here. That's another issue. Like, the only way I could see myself being able to do that kind of method in here is if I was a Blazeborn and I placed down a lava bucket when I went through these. And I can't see the other layers, so I'm gonna carefully dig down and be kind of aware of what's going on. Listen out for any mobs. Carefully check this. There's no piglins below me from this point on. Nothing in the chest. Blackstone? No. Brick. Chest. Ancient debris. We have 1 piece of netherite. 1. Yeah, that's the issue. Anything? Nope. Okay. Lift off. Keep. How did I get in this level? Oh, over here. And then I got out through here. Oh, hi! How did that just go up? No. 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 58. I saw that. You're level 58. Or 50. I might be reading that completely incorrect. Oh. Hello. I'm trying to see... Oh, that says... Yeah, 57, 58. I don't know why the numbers are so far off. They just are. There's not much I can do about it. Can I attempt? Try and go right here. I just want to see, is there a chest in this place? No, there is not. Boop, boop. 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 I feel this! There was a blaze spawner right here that I'm gonna get rid of. Oh. There's too many piglin brutes around for me to really steal from that. Let me follow through with my original plan. We're gonna go to a nether fortress. Oh, it's not called nether fortress, it's just called fortress. We're gonna go to the nearest nether fortress. I think it wants to send me back. Yeah. Fortress. Is there anyone? Yeah, there's... Yeah, why were you trying to send me 500 away if there's one 196 away? If there's one right here, why are you trying to send me 500 back? Where's the nether fortress? It says I'm right at it. So there it is. Do you guys have diamonds? Or netherite? Well, you wouldn't have it up here, would you? You'd have it down below. Where's your stairs? I don't want to mess with you. Where's your stairs? I don't want to mess with you. Where's your stairs? I'm not messing with any of y'all. Where are your stairs? You took 10 health off of me. I'm not messing with a single one of you. Okay. We're here to loot and we get out after. That's it. We're not gonna pick any fights. If I get into a fight, we're gonna take it only safely. And that's it. Diamonds, please. Chest. Ancient debris. Lovely. Adore it. And nope. I also want to keep an eye out if there happens to be any ancient debris in the walls, because I have had that happen. There's more down there. I want to check over here first. Dead end. And nothing of use. And nothing of use there. Downstairs. Anything good down here? And golden apples. You diamonds! Finally! Oh, it's wonderful to have you back. We still need another 7, but it's wonderful to have you back. And I'm back upstairs. I already went through those. So go around this, and this way. To get out of... Nope. To get out of here. Jeez. Yeah, I don't want to go mining for the ancient debris, but the longer I do this, the more I want to, you know? A random piglin captured. We're not too bad for an hour in, but I only have 6 ancient debris and 11 diamonds, and I still need 7 more diamonds. And I need a total 130 ancient debris. I would like to get that done today. Ancient debris. Over 7 out of 130 now. I would appreciate if some loot started to give me ingots. Okay, so the black spirals, they can, like, consistently give ingots. It's a bit more of a rare thing. But if you go to enough of them, you can consistently get ingots. My problem is, I am a 3-shot kill. So I hesitate on actually going through, especially because I know that they aren't going to give me any diamonds, and I also need diamonds right now. And that's all of this nether fortress. I think what we need to do, we're going to head back to Nether Portal in the overworld. And then go through. And then find a new fortress. Off in this direction, hopefully. Boop. While I'm not gonna, while trying not to hit anything. I'm trying to head as northeast as I can, because I did go that direction originally, but I haven't gone that direction since. Another way would be southwest I haven't really gone, which would be really good. Yeah, because this is the thing Wait! I ignored ancient debris here. I remember this in editing because I pointed it out.
Oh, man.
I shouldn't be surprised. I really shouldn't. I just want this stupid debris. If I can consistently get easy to spot ancient debris from these, we need to keep an eye out for these then. I'm trying to see if there's any more. Yeah, there's another piece right there. I just have to dig down to it and then grab it. So if I can consistently get a few pieces from multiple toxic heaps, and then I can also kill whatever ghast may be here at any given time. Because this gave me diamonds, I'm pretty sure, when I had looted it. Oh, there's another shield. Hold on. I'm probably not going to actually decorate my house, but I want the looty. I want to just have an obscene collection of flags and shields. There's a pipe. Okay, I want to see if you go down the pipeline far enough, yeah, this section. If you go through some of this, it can have good stuff, but it can also seriously suck like this. So yeah, we're just gonna get out of here. I'm not gonna deal with that. I have the health to do so, but I want to be safe without things because I literally have 1 totem. And I've been struggling to even attempt to get a raid so I can get another totem. Is there anything this direction? That's just a random dungeon. That's not another fortress. Search random thing. Search for a fortress. Is there anything close by? There's another one in 500 this way. Which is gonna make the mobs pretty strong. But unfortunately, that's what I gotta deal with. We need the ancient debris. I need debris, I need diamonds. After I get my diamonds, then we'll... Volcanic deltas. Hellfire Mantle. Enter the chaotic volcanic deltas. I'm gonna assume that's Incendium. Does it literally say? No, it does not. Another fortress. Smack dab right here. Hey, everybody. Where is your stairs? Where's your basement? Can I see? I can't tell from up here. No, no. Why did it stop sprinting? This way. I hear all of the bones chasing me. Okay, they've calmed down. They lost track. Yeah, that's why I don't come back up the stairs. That's why I teleport away. We don't come back here. We don't come back. Okay, diamonds. Diamonds. Diamonds and debris. D&D, please. Diamonds, diamonds. 13. 5 more, please. I'm just so hell set on this. This is trapped, but it's easy enough to fix and prevent. Singular diamond, I'll take it. Diamond, 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 diamond. There are diamond stuff, but I can't do anything with that. Netherite ingot. Oh, my best friend has saved me from getting 4 ancient debris. Diamond. Diamond. I just need 2 more diamonds. Just 2 more. And I think along the way I'll be crafting the netherite ingots so we have a more accurate count. Because if I have a mix of netherite and debris, it's just going to be difficult for me to count. And it's not going to be intuitive. I can look at it and know that's what I need left. What's in here? Nope. Did I go through? This is not a good one to go through, and it doesn't even have anything good. No. Not allowed. Get out. Okay, so I'm still kinda overpowered. But that's purely with strategy and knowing how to work my build correctly. This is literally only obsidian. What? What is over there? What? I have never seen this room. Oh, if you fix that, it blows up. I understand. If you fix it, it blows up, Mr. Bond. Do not let your OCD get the best of you. Do not let the impulsive thoughts overtake you. You cannot fix the trap, Mr. Bond, otherwise you and everything you love will blow up. That's actually genuinely a good trap. I think that would trap most of the population. Diamond, diamond, diamond. Now my character is as frantic as I feel. Diamonds. No diamond. No capes. I didn't even mean to do that. And there's nothing. Get me out of here. Actually, how's my armor? Okay, my armor's fine. My armor's fine. I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be constantly checking that from now on. And then I'm gonna forget at some point and it's gonna just immediately break on me. Because that's how it goes. Okay. That is extremely watered down at this point. I know I can make at least 3 ingots right now of netherite. Or 2 ingots of netherite giving me 3 out of the 30 I need. So we're 1/10 of the way there. I almost have enough for 4. I have 3.5 right now, actually. That's the high priority because of how fast he is, and he's close range, not long range, plus the withering effect. They're not actively attacking me right now. Now get the blaze, and that guy. Barely missed me. That's a very lucky miss.
It's a Leopleurodon, Charlie. Magical Leopleurodon. It's gonna guide our way to Candy Mountain.
Get that guy. He's almost down. 2 more. 1 more. There you go. And 1 more for that guy too. Wonderful. I can put more into damage. I'm gonna put into attack speed again. The faster this thing recharges, the better. Because if I can actually get good damage while spam clicking, that would be great. No. Have I gone through this area? It's looking a lot like the last one is the problem. Okay, downstairs. Diamonds. No. 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 Diamond. Golden apple. Golden carrots. Don't need them. Don't care. Just 1 more. 1 more diamond. 1 more. I appreciate all the obsidian around it. Usually it's very helpful to me, but right now I just require 1 diamond. Please tell me I have another corridor to go. Because I think I got all the corridors in this one. Where do I even leave? I've been completely turned around. Where do I leave? Where's the escape? Where's the escape? I'm lost. I am very lost. Where do I go? This way. No? We just went down here. Where? Where do I go? Where do I? No. Not that way. This way? Yeah, okay. This was the one I was just down. This is the first. Okay, I've gone through all of these. I still need more. I just need 1 more diamond. That's all I want. Let's try southwest. This is the one direction I haven't really gone yet. We'll see if there's anything I could steal from around this part. Can't see a damn thing though. Is that another temple? It looks like he's got licorice lips. That's a trap chest. I see that. I see that. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, nice. I'll take the flags and the XP. Ooh, get me out. I want to throw flags at here. That's a great flag to get. I love that. Perfect for June. Okay, carrying on. Is that Among Us? Tell me I'm not the only one that sees that. Like, I know that probably looks more like an A. I'm not the only one that sees it, right? I know it's barely off. I might just have watched too much Among Us content, but I see him everywhere I look. Everywhere I go, he hunts me. Or whatever the meme is. I think the meme is literally just I see him everywhere, and I'm overthinking it again. There's a bastion right here. And they would have... The bastion would have ancient debris. Oh, it's bridge, of course it is. What? Were you climbing a ladder? What? What has just occurred there? Because you popped up out of nowhere, my friend. I'm not willing to deal with the devil there. I do not trust that sort of bastion. I don't know how to properly loot that one. I'm pretty far out at this point. I think we could get away with looking for a new fortress. Fortress! It wants me to go back to the old one still. We keep going. Oh, good song. Let's try again. I know I haven't gone far, but I don't care. Still wants me to go back to the old one. What's that? It's a wither skelly. Okay. Please, I just want a singular diamond that I must acquire by looting it. That is it. Why do they have... Oh, that's why there's two! That's why there's 2 dots for some of them. They have little babies on their heads. I'm gonna look for the fortress again. Oh, this is a new one! New one! I am going in blindly. Oh, there's a bastion of sorts, right? Is this the Nether Gauntlet? That's the Nether Gauntlet. We don't care about Nether Gauntlet. What? What this? What you? Dungeon. No diamond. We go. This way. Into the void I go. Where? There's ground. There's people, things. Can't see anything. Nether fortress. I just want your basement. I just want to loot your basement. I am gonna be so real right now. I just want your basement. Where's your basement? Thank you. I'm gone. I'm going. I'm not gonna be in any of your guys' business. I just want your basement. Also, I don't want to actually lose any of this, so I'm gonna do this for the moment until we get that last one. In case, you know, I do die mysteriously. Come on. One more. One more. That's all the diamonds we need. But I'm still gonna check everywhere else in case I can get more netherite. Beautiful. I need to actually smelt it. Okay, I'm not gonna smelt till the end then. Because I'm not gonna sit down and smelt these all the time, because I will forget where they are. I'll just have to sloppily count along the way. If I consider every netherite ingot just for... What? Oh, it's a mine shaft. Okay. If I just consider... Oh, it's ruined this entire area, though. I don't even know if this where. Okay, I still have my enchanted golden apples. Can this have ancient debris? I haven't seen a chest in this. I would assume, like everything else, it would occasionally spawn a loot chest. I would assume. The question is, does it? Yes, it does. What kind of loot does it? It has cool banners. But it's not loot, aside from the banners, that I want. So, we carry on. In the fortress. I don't care. I don't care. I am so desperate. I am so desperate for the forbidden cinnamon rolls. I don't care. Anytime I see any ancient debris, we are taking it. I do not care. I will happily be a hypocrite. I'm already awake. The ancient debris woke me up as it was. Okay, so that's 12... math. 12, 16. 16 out of 30 I need. 16 out of 30. Wonderful. Are you... I just went out. I can't wait to start the new run of this, because I loved being an Elytrian. I still do. Just a little annoying to play with Ascendant mobs. Just that little bit. Not quite worth... Okay. I'll take it. You have chirp. I don't really need chirp. I don't have that banner yet. I'm just collecting banners. I don't know why I've started doing this. I just have. Oh, the forbidden chest. Get rid of that. There we go. Ancient debris. Oh, my beloved. You have come home. 18 out of 30. 130. 18 out of 130. Or 120. It's not 130. I've upped it. I don't know when I started saying 130. Probably because I'm thinking the 30 ingots.
Small.
That's 22? 22 out of 120? I need to redo my math, because I know this is 8, 20, 22, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. Alright. Oh, wait, I missed... What is that loot? Okay. Quell. Come on. Injabri. No. It loves catching me off guard with just the best stuff, and I adore it. But I wish it happened more often. I can't help but wish. There's another mineshaft right there. It's probably the same one, actually. And we're gonna have to start going through black spirals really soon here. Oh, no, I did go... Okay, I banned going to the right. This looked the exact same as the one across from it. So I was really confused. No, I've been this way too. Okay. I've already... yeah. It's time to go through the dreaded black spirals. Actually, before we teleport away, I should check. Are there any close by? There's one 380 away, which is basically guaranteed to be a new one. I'm gonna get just above the lava, and then we'll mine out in order to safely get out of here. without attracting the attention of the wither skellies. This way. Whew, that was almost bad. I see nothing. I see not a thing. All I know is there's something this way. Black spiral, we should see it any moment. There it is. Okay, wonderful. Any ancient debris on top for fun? No. No. We're pretty far out. I'm gonna just... we are southeast. Southeast nether. In case I ever need to get really far out here, but I imagine after this run we'll start a new playthrough, so probably not. If I die, then it's helpful. There we go. Lovely. Lovely. Come on. Goodbye. Thank you. Everything is about 50, 55, 50 to 60. Not too bad as far as... You know, actually, it's clear there's nothing else in there. I might as well just continue on to the next layer. Debris! Pretty please. Thank you. $24. There's a thing right here, but nothing. Anything in here? There's blazes below me as well, so there's a blaze spawner down below. I don't know if that's gonna have a chest in it or not, though. Nope, nothing in here. You can usually understand, like, most of what's gonna be in a room from a glance. Occasionally there's, like, a more well-hidden chest, but... And there's a... Nope, this is the blaze lair. He's just chilling, though. Whoo! Armor doing good? Okay, we're doing fine. Yeah, I'm getting enough XP right now and taking so little hits that it balances out pretty well right now. We're not doing that bad. There's a chest over there. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. That's 26 now. 26 out of 30. 26 out of 120. We're doing better. It's taking a minute, but we're doing better. Oh dear, okay. Anything in here? I am going into this so haphazardly. I should not have done that. Fly out, fly back in. Need to do it again. Nope. I just want to get to the top portion of that. That's all I want. I just want to get right here. Nothing. There's Meanie Bobinis upstairs. And no chest or debris. There's a chest and no mobs. There's multiple chests. Diamond gear, can't use, and no debris. There's a chest. Nothing. Oh, there's a hoglin spawner. Oh, the baby. Oh, baby got good health though. Baby has health. I'm not gonna deal with the baby though. And there's literally nothing in this one. Fantastic. Okay. What a wonderful waste of time. Let's try over here. Bonk. And then go right there. Why am I... Why is it trying to... Why did it give me XP? Nothing in here. Try the next floor. I'm not seeing any mobs. I've already been in here. I've already been to this one. Because that's a very specific layout of things. Yeah. Okay, we were just in this one. Okay. This is the other side of the one I was just in. I saw that one. I saw another one. Over here. That's what it was. Boop. Anything? There's a chest. Have I gone into this one yet? No. And nothing for me. And it's going to be a little more difficult getting in the lower layers, so we're going to have to go through the actual thing. Just a chest, but nothing good. Is there any piglins below on the minimap? Nope. There's literally nothing here. So I feel confident enough to just break through all the layers here. And drop down to each layer. There's now blazes below, but I'm pretty confident in how we can handle that. Yeah, and I have a barricade right there to help me. Another layer down. Okay. And there's piglins far down below that, but that could be a cave. Oh, you're right there, sir. There we go. I'm getting decently good at handling this at this point. Boop. Okay, I think I can also get away with three-shotting things, almost, if I actually land crits, even with weakness. So that's not bad. Is the bottom? Yeah, that's Blackstone. Okay. Drop everything off here, because I don't need none of it. Alright. Just horribly do this real quick. There we go. Waste a heart or two. Is there any more of the black spirals here? Or is this it? There's the one there. There's a bridge going out that way, but that does not mean there is one that way. Yeah, it was just these three. Okay. We're gonna go back to the overworld, unfortunately, and reload the nether. This is not where I wanted to go. Because it set off everything else. Gotta waste some XP. Okay. I'm going to keep going until we get everything. I will not stop streaming until we hit the full amount of ancient debris that I need. We've gone northwest, but not specifically for black spirals. Nor have we looked for any. Yeah, there's one northwest of that fortress I've been going to. And it should be just around the corner. There's a pipeline. Of course there is. Black spiral. Let's start from the top. There's a blaze spawner in this. Of course there is. Nah. We play a little dangerous. I'm hearing piglin brutes get mad, but that's fine. If I break these blocks, I think I can get away with attacking this guy. Yeah. And I just want to push him farther away from me. He's in the next zip code. I think we're fine. Next floor. There's a chest back there. I'm not seeing any mobs immediately near. Netherite ingot. 30? 30 out of 120? That's 12. That's 18. Yeah. 30. Okay. There's literally nothing in that one. That's not worth it. And this could have one. I have doubts, but it could. Yeah. Sometimes the chests are hidden, but this was not the case. Armor's still doing fine, and I'm still gonna be stingy about that for a bit. I don't even have to... Nope, not a good chest. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, take 2, bottom floor of the spiral. I'm only seeing blazes, but I'd rather give it a shot and try and see if there's anything in here. Because there still could be. And there's still one more blaze in here. Plus XP. There you go. Oh! I need to land the stupid crit. Thank you. Don't need that. Don't need that. Some poor piglins dying in the lava. Oh. Oh, I love free cam. Let me get that in view. He's level 52, so this is gonna take a minute. 20, 18, 10, 9, 8, set. Oh, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye, Porky. Bye-bye to me too, apparently. I'm gonna be going at this for another minute or two here. I need to take a quick break. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back in 5. Because I need one. I'll be right back. Hello. All right. That was just Thai flavored water. That was so watered down. Okay. I am still on fire. I can't tell. It seems like there's more over there. We're gonna go through this spiral first, though. Nothing worth it in there. This is the blaze room. There's 2 spawners in here. I don't feel like that's worth it. Nope. Brutes in there. There is debris, though. So we will do it. Hello, buddies. Hello. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit right here and we're gonna just fight each other just like this. It's fantastic. Thank you for the XP. It's gonna heal up my armor. Just a wee bit. Debris! I don't know why that first black spiral we went through so bad. Sometimes they're really sucky, sometimes they're really good. It's a complete luck of the draw kind of thing. 32 at 120. There's a chest in there with nothing that I need. And this is the bottom layer. There's one I missed. Not here. I'm gonna check this one anyway. Oh, good thing I did. 34 out of 120. Just on that one up there is also, yeah, okay, that one up there also has places. All right, not worth it. There's another one over there, so let's shoot up. I could be taken so out of context now I think about it. That's lovely. I should probably say boost up. There we go. 35 out of 120. I'm gonna say it every single time. It just makes it easier for me in editing later. What about you? Nope. It's good stuff. It'd be great if I wasn't a glass cannon playthrough, but I am. I think at this point... Ooh, no. I think this has been a decently good challenge of a run. Oh, I'm gonna do the same thing again. Okay. Back up. And that's just a Hoglin spawner. I have doubts that it's gonna have any loot. There's 2 chests in here. Nope. Anything? No. And I know there's blazes here, but is there anything good with them? I feel like I should try anyway. I hate that there's so many... Yeah, there's 2 spawners in here, that's why. But I'm not sure if that gives them reason... Let's try and look at a different side of this and see if I can see anything else on the other side. Instead of trying to go against this ridiculous thing. Yeah, there's nothing there. Okay. I think at this point we're kind of in the last stretches of this challenge, and I think I can definitively say the Ascendant mobs is absolutely great for this. It forces you to really try and use strategy and think about everything you're doing. And handling your gameplay a lot better. And it will kick your butt the first couple times that you're playing with it. But once you get into a groove of understanding the mod pack, then it's really good. Once you can always turn off the mod in the mod pack until you're ready to use it. Or just straight up delete it if you don't like it. But I feel like this actually makes a really good gameplay. I want to add advanced netherite, so it feels like leveling through and dealing with the ascendant mobs is really worth it. Because getting advanced netherite would be so worth it with these ridiculous mobs. And glass cannon is definitely not a good way to play it, but it is also a decently fun way to go about playing this. That offers decent challenge considering I already have a fair amount of knowledge of the mod pack. And this would definitely be great for people who seriously enjoy roguelikes, as well as more risk-taking kind of gameplay. I'm the kind of person that I won't make a bet unless I know I can win it. I don't take risks unless I can safely do so. Which does take away from my gameplay, yeah. But also ensures I actually have the gameplay. But I see this can be a lot of fun for a lot of people. After this, we'll do a run of 1.3.1. I'm gonna officially add Ascendant mobs to the mod page. I want to add Essential, so you can play with friends. And I know there was another mod I was thinking of, but I can't remember off the top of my head. This is... okay. What? Oh, it's magma cubes. Okay. Okay, I'm not gonna worry about it. Let's try looking for a new black spiral, because we've gotten decently far from the last one. That's not how you spell that. Next one's 1200 away, are you kidding? I'm gonna try going east. I can't see anything. Oh yeah. The next run we do, I want to do 1.3 with all the current mods we have, officially adding Ascendant mods to the mod pack list, as well as Essential and the Advanced Netherite I've been talking about. Because I feel like all of that will really well balance together. Essential is just so you can play with other people if you want. As long as they have the mod pack, you can also play with them. And I feel like that'd be great for a lot of people, especially if you don't want to go about setting up a whole server. Is that? No, this is not what I need. And I have doubts that this will give me any netherite. But it's crazy that we're already in the last stretch of this. I didn't think it'd be a long challenge. I thought it'd be a decently difficult one, which is definitely proven to be that. It's definitely that. But once you get a hang of the mods and how the gameplay of it, it's a seriously fun way to play. It feels just outside of vanilla that it's a new experience, but still close enough to Minecraft that you have the same stuff going on. My phone's going off. And all of this is in a mostly vanilla setting. There is the chipped mod and the handcrafted, which is the only things that kind of go out of it. But they get a pass from me because I simply love the mods, and they work really well under the guise of making the game feel like Skyrim, and feel like the gameplay of Skyrim because the Heartswarming DLC, and being able to have houses and make a house in this game, in this mod pack that looks like Skyrim. Nada. Yeah, I should have figured that. I don't know why that lava never actually drips down. It's just kind of a little bit broken. No mobbies, no chest. Can I get out? Thank you. There's a chest. And ancient scraps. Ancient scrap? You know, that works. I got 2 math. 36. That's 36 out of 120. I just went out without a thought. Oh. Nothing. It's gonna be, next run's gonna be a little annoying. Because I don't want to be an Elytrian. I want to go human with a class or something semi-human with a class. I'm tempted to even do something like feline. That subtracts from fall damage. Something that isn't super effective of gameplay, but gives me like some benefit or another. So I can actually have advanced netherite and have some fun tools to work with. And, oh, there's a... Okay, there's only a singular black spiral here. But there's another fortress over here. Oh, there's an inverted warp force. I saw there's another fortress. Soul Searcher. Discover every single Incendium biome. Okay. Wonderful. There's the big castle. I have no idea how leveled these guys are. I saw a level for a second. What was it? I can't quite catch that, sir. What level are you? What level are you? Oh, I saw it for a second. They're level 100. I see that over... I need to zoom in on that so much in editing, you have no idea. Does this work? There we... my camera's hiding it. Please, I saw it for a moment. There it is! Right there! They're level 100! I cannot be touched by anybody here. Absolutely not. You do not. You might. You're the basement. We go. We gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. I cannot let anybody here touch me. If level 75 is a 3-hit, I don't want to know what a 100 does. I do not want to even gamble that. We start here, and then continue around clockwise. There's nothing over here. Okay. Fantastic. Deeply appreciate that. I do appreciate that it takes a minute for mobs to spawn down here, and because I'm going through things so fast, it doesn't have enough time to really spawn anything. Also, it took me so long to realize this isn't like a random sunbathing room, because when I see this, I think of like a lawn chair. No, it's meant to be beds. That's a barrack. Nothing downstairs. Dead end. Netherite. Oh, there's pig step. I'm taking that. I don't care. I still need to get that on PSMP. I am taking that. That is a looty that's a looty I'm willing to take. That's 40, right? 40 out of 120? That's like a fourth of the way there. Yeah, my math. No, 30 would be a fourth of the way there, right? Because it's 40 times 3. I'm a third of the way there. I had to do math. My brain is all on netherite. It doesn't care about accurate math right now. Also, haha. No, it's not gonna blow up. What are you? You're wrong as well. Step back. Because they're all correct now. Yep, that's what I thought. And then it reveals the room! This one didn't have another right in it last time. Oh my god! I didn't think that was gonna happen. I don't need the diamonds, but god dang. I am so happy. That's 44. I'm so happy. Okay. Okay. I'm very happy. I'm extremely happy. I might be lightheaded as well. That's probably from lack of water. I missed this area. I know that. Didn't get anything there. And that's not worth any value either. Okay. And then next one is this way. My computer is currently screaming at me, and I'm seriously hoping that stream hasn't crashed at all yet. I'm gonna find out in editing. I seriously hope stream hasn't. It doesn't give me any notification, by the way, when it crashes. All I have to go off of is the dropped frames and the kbps. That's the only thing I have to go off of, and that's very tiny on the toolbar. That's all I have to go off of. I need to see if... You know what? We're checking... Does Streamlabs CloudBot... Do they have an alert for when stream crashes? Modules. Shout out, heist minigame, gamble. Media, 8-ball, slots, dual, emote, pyramid, emote combo. I literally just want it to tell me when it starts, like, the stream starts getting low. And when stream starts crashing. Because it's the funniest thing when I look back in editing, or I go to upload the VOD, and I realize, yeah, there's nothing to do for that. Okay. It's the funniest thing to go back and look at the VOD, and realize, oh, stream crashed. Not once, twice, etc. It crashed this many times on me, and I didn't even realize. Yeah, the right scrap. 45 out of 120. Alright, cool. I know at this point it's like me rifling through chests, but this has still been pretty fun. And it's really putting my knowledge of the structures in this game to the test. Because there is a lot to go through, but there are some that are just objectively better. Like, this isn't necessarily too good for netherite. You're basically guaranteed to get one, but it's not the absolute best you can do. But black spirals aren't going to be good for getting diamonds either. And I needed both of those, so way to balance that. Like, I'm seeing a lot of diamonds now, too. Also, I have a lot of levels, so more attack speed. If I kill even, like, one guy while I'm down here, I'm sure I can get up to, like, level 20 again. But this has seriously been fun. I know it's literally been like 2 streams of me doing this, a combined like 5-6 hours. But it has been a lot of fun. Also, I just like zooming around. This is a thing. I don't know what it is, but this has to be a thing, right? No, it's just a staircase. It just weirdly spawned in. Okay. Alright. But this has definitely been fun, and I seriously enjoy testing this mod pack in every way I can. I think at this point, it literally will stay mostly like this, though. I might find some mods that can better do it. If I can, I still want to find a physics ragdoll mod, because I would adore that. I think next playthrough, I want to really lean on companions and test those guys to their fullest. I want to take up like all the companions and pets I possibly could and see how well that does. Just because I think it'd be funny. it just be a silly playthrough, and I love that idea. Alright, I've exhausted this fortress. Let's try and safely get out of here. That is, go above lava, and then... Oh, that'll do. Just go above the ground and escape. I don't need to do anything more than that. Okay. The black spiral is over this way. We're far north, east. Let's head directly west for a little bit and see how that fares us. That shouldn't be too bad of an experiment. Like, in theory, if I go any direction for a long ways, I'm gonna find something new. So, we might as well put that theory to the test. I want to get at least 500 away from that black spiral, because that basically guarantees me I'll get a new one. I'm gonna run this faster than I'm gonna fly this. And distance 500. Okay. And a chapel. Find me, not a fortress. Find me a new spiral. 1,000 away, really? You want to try that again? Because I know there's one within 100 of me. It still wants to send me all the way back up that way. We're not doing that. I'm gonna keep going this way for a little bit. I don't even remember what the name of that dungeon is. Because there was the dungeon we saw in the Toxic Keep. I don't know what that thing is called. I know it's part of Incendium. Gas. It wouldn't be called... Let me look up Toxic. No. Tower. Fire Tower... Or what? Search by a source. So I can scroll down to... Incendium and see if I can find it that way. Additional structures, repurposed structures. So somewhere in between all of this is Incendium. There's one nullscape, or there's actually a couple nullscape. Minecraft. Incendium. Nether reactor, that's what I want. 200 away. I can at least guarantee I get a couple debris from that. Because we are in the Toxic Keep right now. So I might as well go say hi to the overpowered ghast that spawns in this mofo. I know you're probably meant to, like, go down there and fight. But that's not how we play. Oh, he has so much health. Oh. Oh, no. This is gonna be bad. Oh, wait. I need a... There we go. I'm doing 70 to 50 damage. I'm not doing... Okay, there's one. I got one down. Okay, so this isn't as gonna be as bad as I thought it was. Okay. Boop. Boop. How many totems do you have? How many am I out of arrows? No, I'm just not holding bow. No? Am I... I'm hitting the ground. Please. Please. Thank you. Stupid mofo. Okay, any debris in this? Please. Oh, there's a poor skelly dying. That sucks for him. There's no debris in this one. That really sucks. Okay. Is there anything in here? There's a shield, but I don't care about that. I just literally only want the debris. Another nether gauntlet. I think that's another gauntlet. This is even worse than the last one I had. I am like 100% sure this is nether gauntlet. It spawns horribly with, like, everything. Yeah. Nether gauntlet. Where's the little... There's the eyeballs. These things. Oop. We can leave that way. Alright, now can I look for a new spiral? No, it still wants me to head 10,000 that way. I can continue heading west. I can't see anything. There we go. Lovely. Hi, kitty cat. I still can't see anything. There we go. I kinda love having a low render distance, but it's the only way that the stream's not going to crash. Cat, are you... If you're doing what I think you're doing, don't. Really, just don't. Simple as that. Let's try heading out this way. It should give me a new one by now. Because we're almost 1,500... Yeah. We were almost 1,500 away. What is this load? What is this terraforming? Giant nether mountain for no... There's another nether fortress. Okay, hold on. Pit stop. Where's your chain? Where's your basement? Hello, I need your base... Oh, you two. Of course you spawned intersected. It's the number one worst way for you to spawn. And of course it happened. Because there's no easy way for me to get around this either. There's not a simple way for me to circumvent it. Okay, there we go. We can do this. Cat! Dude! Thankfully someone's let him in and out. Okay, nada in here. And I think, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to actually go through... Yep. You know what? Gonna take a little bit of damage, but this is gonna be faster. There we go. Something over here. Nothing. Let's try again. Of course. You know what? We're not doing that again. I shouldn't have even done that in the first place. The first time. Get you in that corner. And attack from a distance, 'cause it works. And I'm here for... Nope. I'm here for the long haul. So there's definitely two spawners down there. It wouldn't have spawned that many if there wasn't. And it's already spawned in a new batch. I'm barely hitting this stupid guy's hitbox. Can I get away with that? Yes. Come on. Thank you. Abilities recharged. We're gonna do that. And then... oh, I just wasted it. Oh, I just wasted it so bad. I don't care if it's a coward's way. It's the way I survive. I'd rather keep this run than anything else. Come on, ability. You recharge, please. There are like 5 blazes down here. We're gonna... Ability's almost recharged. I'm gonna get rid of the top one and go down. In case there is... And there's nothing down here. Not getting rid of my sleeping bag. Is this bottom layer? No, it's not. Bottom layer also has blazes. There's nothing for me here. I'm out. Goodbye, you stupid thing. I am going over and I'm mining into the staircase. I do not care. I'm done the blackened spirals the unintentional way. I'm gonna go through the nether fortress the unintentional way. My computer's lagging. Not too many dropped frames anyhow. I really do think it was the leaves causing the stream crashes in addition to mobs and the render distance. Just like the big three. While I didn't have it absolutely maxed out, it was just too much to handle in addition to streaming in this mod pack. I'm almost tempted to do like a Let's Play series of this. But I think just streaming it has worked out far better, and it puts a time constraint on like how much I can do. And it gives me a specific time slot for me to work on this as well, so I'm not overdoing the work on it. I have to come up with something I can specifically do that time I'm playing. And it makes me come up with better video ideas in addition. Come on, there might be netherite in there! Nope. Anything? 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 There's a golden apple. Anything? Netherite ingot! That's 24. Is that 50 yet? We're at a point where I'm starting to lose track of the numbers. We're almost 49 at 120. This is gonna be... My brain's not gonna be mathing real quick here. Like, keep in mind, after streams, I'd go directly to bed. Brain not gonna be braining real quick here. It's already not braining. I've already said that. I've already said that exact sentence. That's how much my brain ain't braining. Dead end. Dead end, but there's something on the other side. What? What? Never mind, there was something over here. Okay. That was not a dead end. Netherite? Netherite? No. Netherite? Ancient debris. I'll take it. 51 out of 120, not 40. Anything? Nope. This will end up being both slow-paced and fast-paced at times. Because I'm still trying to do this within a reasonable time slot. I would like to get this done in the next half hour. But also, it's taken me a minute to even get to 50. Which, yeah, we're almost halfway. We're at 51 at 120, so we're almost at the 60 halfway mark. But still, that's 120 ancient debris. And I should have let myself, you know, mine something. But no, I decided rummaging through chests for a singular piece of netherite was a better option. Because it's more interesting. I'm gonna be up till midnight looking for this. It is currently 9:30, by the way. Midnight is still a couple of hours. Have I already gone down? I have not gone down here. 52 out of 120. There's something on the other wall here. Have I already gone? Have I literally just... I was literally just in this room. I was literally just in that room. I just went into that chest. Have I gone over here? That's not useful anyway. Okay, lovely. Back upstairs. Is that... That's almost all of it. That might be all of it. That was all of it. Okay. So it seems like we can get a couple of pieces per fortress and per black spiral. I just need to get a little more efficient of how I'm doing it. And it also depends on the luck of how many black spirals I get per spawn. Because this one only gave me 1, but one of the first ones we went to at 7, and I didn't even fully get through that. But somehow that 7 gave me nothing. Whoop. I don't want to touch a single wither skelly here. No thank you. I'm gonna head this way. Because we are far out, and I'm not a fan of it. We are, like, real far out. I can't zoom out that much. Newer versions of Journey Map I can. This version, no. I think our base, where we started, is somewhere between this area. If I remember correctly. I think we're about here. Yeah, that's another fortress. I think we're in this area. Which is still a hefty ways away. What? Have I gone into this one yet, or is this the one I was just in and I went the complete incorrect way? This is a new one. This is a completely brand new fortress that I just went face first into. Because of course I did. I said it was gonna happen. It was just a matter of time of when. Okay, where's the staircase? Where's the thing? Where's the big boy? So I can steal into it. I want to burrow. Let me burrow. What? Where's the big boy? There it is. Okay, where's our staircase? I don't want to deal with none of y'all. Oop. Oh, I didn't want to go up this side. No, thank you. Is it this? I think it's this one. Oh yeah, it's this one. It's this one. Let me in. Yep, let me in. Why is there lava? You know, we're just gonna do that. No. Damn it, cat. I hate lava. It's so slow. I understand why. It doesn't mean I don't hate it. I mean, it's just as slow for me to do this all the way down and carefully walk. I'm slowly tapping W, by the way. There we go. Of course you don't... Oh, no, it died. Okay. No, it's still alive. It's just chilling in the lava. And then it gets stuck on the lava again. Come on, there we go. Oh, that boy's definitely still alive. Where is he? He's right there. Level 68. It's not nearly as bad as 100, but I still don't want to deal with you. He's almost dead. Come on, just let me kill him. There we go. Come on. Aish. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I have little to no choice here. It's either wait for a long ass time for the lava to go down, or slowly do this. I could have come down here. That was way too close for comfort. Oh, Very slowly. There we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. And now it's gonna deal with itself as I do the rest of this. Of course, there's more lava. Anything around here? Dead end. Dead end. Dead end. And nope. Downstairs? Anything good downstairs? Is that a mine shaft? Alright. That's, okay. Cat? What are we doing? He's rubbing against my boom arm. Do you want to come cuddle? Is that what we're doing? Do you need space up here? Come on. Yeah, you're allowed. Come on. Yeah, come on. Come on. No? Okay. You do your thing. What? Okay. Not gonna question it. More of this, but some of this. Netherite. Ain't golden apples, I'll take it. Nope. Nada. I'd be happy with even just a scrap. Come on. I need something. I literally do not have the time to do another stream unless I want to stream a random day of the week. I like my schedule. But both my Sunday and Wednesday are taken up next week. There's gonna be no stream this coming Sunday, by the way. Boop. There we go. Nothing. Nor the coming Wednesday. I am busy. And then this VOD is actually gonna go up the 15th. As a cut video, kind of like the first amalgamation. Because by the time we finished the first amalgamation episode, I knew I wanted to do this one. Scrap! I'll take the scrap. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take anything. Even if just... You know what? I'm not gonna push it. I'll take it. Thank you. No questions here, Your Honor. 53? I think that's right. I think we're over that, though. I have to do math again. Hold on. Hold on. So I know it's 24, 21, 53. I was correct. Okay. Oh, jeez. Please, thank you. I don't know why, sometimes it just doesn't want me to sprint, and it's always at the most inopportune times. Cat, you suck.
In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out.
He's a little butthead is what he is. Because in the past, like, 10 minutes, he's gone in and out of my room 3 times, I think? Sounds about right. And there's more of a mine shaft. I'll start to the right, and then work our way through. Of course. You keep messing up! This stupid fortress! I thought I added a mod to fix that. When did I have an axe in my inventory? Have an axe in my front slot. Nope. Change it out? Oh, banner, yeah. Okay, I just want to find this. I just want to get this done. You know, I'll leave that for later. I computer is throwing such a fit. It is throwing such a fit over this. I reload chunks, like, as often as I can, but it's still upset. It is very upset. It's throwing a temper tantrum right now. I think I need to upgrade my graphics card. Upgrade? I meant to say update, but upgrade works the same. Same thing, different meaning, but... This room, please. What are you? 1, 2, 1, 2. What are you? 1, 2, 1, 2. What are you? 1, 2, 1, 2. Come on! Do it. Yeah! What do you got for me? It's not netherite. Oh, there's a blaze down there. And next to a blaze spawner. I mean, Oh, you're only 200. Oh, that's the thing I cared about. There's no netherite in there. Okay, we leave. I don't care then. The only reason I wanted to even kill that blaze is to see what was in the chest. Boop. Nope. Anything? No. I still have a piece of redstone dust that I don't need. I'm gonna add on to my attack speed again. I just checked that chest. Go this way now. You. No. No. Come on. You. 57. 57. 57. That is lovely. That woke me up. Hi, hello, how are you, world? Jeez. I wonder if it's genuinely faster mining or looting. Because sure, there's like travel time to be had in looting, but I'm like consistently getting at least a few pieces per fortress. And fortresses seem to be the way to go more so than the black spirals at this point, because I'm not consistently finding black spirals. Which makes it just that little bit harder. Nor am I consistently getting them from black spirals either. Okay. We try this way. Cool. My computer's still pitching a fit, and I have no clue what I can do to help it at this point. I've done like everything I can to turn down like every graphic. The only thing I could think of at this point would be like the resource packs. But even then, that's not super costly. It's not like I'm loading an insane amount of chunks either. I have it set at this point to 6 and 5. And a max frame rate of 60. So everything should be fine. I understand it's probably just the fact that it's streaming. It's doing a lot more than it should. But also, it is just freaking out. Have I gone down this hall yet? I feel like I have. Anything? No. Okay. That was everything in this one. That's gonna be interesting supercutting this, because I'm just gonna be occasionally adding something funny. And then it's just gonna be a random moment of... It's just gonna be a bunch of clips of me slowly going through chests. And I'm not even gonna show every chest, that's for certain. I've opened way too many at this point. Like, I am looting 120 ancient debris. And that ain't no easy feat. Nor is flying through here a pair. How did I only take 1 damage from that? flying through here, apparently. Alright, we continue some way around here. I don't know how yet, but I'll find out. Can I... How? How go round? This way, I guess. I picked up item frames at some point. Spiral. New one? No, still old one. To be fair, I didn't go that far. I just happened to hit smack dab into a fortress. I see that below me. Is there a fortress nearby? Because if you see this in the lava, that usually means there's a fortress very close by. That one was over there. So where's the fortress? It looks like it's this way. It looks like there's one over here. Because there's also stuff over here too, but that could very well be a mine shaft. If I go over this way, what is here? Oh wait, no, it's a mine shaft. It's a mine shaft. Okay. I'm wrong. That jump scared me just a wee bit. Okay, spiral. 500 this way, cool. Also, I need to check if this is important. It is not, okay. I will see that later. There's a black spiral this way. I love just speeding through this like crazy. It is so much fun. My computer doesn't enjoy it, but I do. What is this building? It's another fortress. Hold on, where's the staircase? Definitely not that side. There it is. Hold on, let's break into the bottom. Let's break in. And zoom around this. This is guaranteed netherite or ancient debris. I'm going to go through it. What level are you? That looks about 50. So not too bad to handle. There's a guy down there, so I'm not gonna deal with that. No. Nope. 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 There's really good loot. The problem is, I only want netherite. Netherite, ancient debris, or scrap. I'll take any of it. Anything that the mod pack is willing to hand me. Hello, I love you. You're a great puzzle. Pretty please. Can I get some loot? How about you give me some loot? I did it upside down. There we go. Da-da, da-da, da. Pretty please. Yeah. Good evening. Hello, Jazzy. How are you? We have managed to get currently a total of 150, or not 157. 57 ancient debris purely by looting, unfortunately. Because I felt like challenging myself, and this has proved to be a little more annoying than I thought. But we have managed a good 57 out of the 120 I need. So I don't think that's that bad. I don't think that's half bad. I thought looting would be funnier than mining it. Shark weenie? What? Oh. Yeah, it's the totem. It's just the shark tail. Yeah. It's the blahage. But I have a Charm of Undying thing. So, the way the blahage texture is made, it's like that. So that's great. thought there must be a room on the other wall. Yeah, it's that room. Okay. Anything around here? My computer's pitching a fit at this, but there's literally no other things I could possibly do in order to make this run better at this point. So I just need to upgrade my graphics card, honestly. I'm so sleep deprived. It makes sense with your schedule. That makes a lot of sense. Hope you're getting some caffeine, coffee, energy drink, something in. There's something to help out so you don't crash somewhere. Have I even got ancient debris in this one yet? Granted, I've only gone down one corridor at this point, but I can still hope. I can still hope. Is the blaze gone from here? Yes. Hey man, Marvel Rivals isn't gonna play itself. Fair enough. I'm doing the same thing with Minecraft. We are not stopping stream until I get 120 ancient debris / 30 netherite ingots. There we go. 61. We're officially halfway. Oh, wonderful. Okay. I love when I find ingots. It's the best, because that means I've just skipped over 4 debris. Oh, that's 62. Slowly but surely we'll get this done. And I will continue reloading chunks in hopes of staving off a crash. I'm gonna be real upset if I find out after this that at some point during it has crashed. Which it probably has. Honestly, it probably has at some point. Or at least had like a frame drop. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. I need to, like, redo OBS. Oh, that's all the corridors. Okay. Back to the black spiral we were gonna go to. I need to redo the OBS setting recommendations and see how that fares. Is the black spiral just over here? Has it intersected with the fortress again? No, it has not. It's just a little bit over here. Am I gonna smack right dab into it? Oh, it's there. It's right there. Oh, it has intersected with another thing, though. I hate it. Thanks. Whew. There are 2 wolves and you, a healthy sleep schedule, and a pure caffeine IV drip fiend. That is... I love that. Whew. I'm calling, like, everybody doing this. 'Cause I can see a bunch of things over there that want to get me too. Oh, they're fighting the Wither Skelly over there. I don't think they can even get in. Doesn't look like they can. No, they can't. That's a half slab. That's free XP. That's what I see right here. That's free XP. The sound locators? What just happened? I wasn't looking. I was raiding chat. I probably got hit with a crossbow, that's what happened. And then he got hit because I have thorns. There we go. Another 29. And more attack speed. Okay, attempt to go down this stupid thing. Okay, what has happened here? Alright. There's definitely at least a blaze spawner or 2 down here. Yeah, it's right there. Whoo! Be not. Can I just do that? I can't even see their feet. And we're just gonna do, excuse me, I'm trying to get your feet. Boop. Haha. Oh. Get rid of this. There we go. That's a good spot for you, buddy. There we go. I haven't done like an actual staircase down into these in a hot minute, but this one needs it just because of how annoying the blazes are. 56. Lovely. Not the worst I've gone up against, thankfully. But still not super fun. I'm gonna start going back into damage again. Yeah, there's another 2 over there. I'm surprised there wasn't 2 spawners in here. There's only 1. Probably because it sounds like there's another spawner down there. Is the spawner gonna be right below me? Oh no, but there's a piglin that is. There's a little broody boy. Broody brute boy. That doesn't sound good when I say it. That'd be better over text. Broody as in like chickens broody. A broody brute. He's a broody brute. I need to like emphasize every letter in that to make that joke work. Okay, that's that guy down. Oh. And then those 2 over there. Yeah, they can get my feetsies just as easy. This one didn't have 2 spawners either, but it has a fair amount too. Is it because of the fortress right next to it? So that seems like it'd be a good call. But I'm not too sure. Is that it? No, there's another lair. Yeah, at some points this is worth it, sometimes it's just not, because I went through all those layers and there wasn't a single chest. Oh, that'll do. Let me out. Was this the only one as well? It looks like it. There was only 1 black spiral and none of that had a chest. Not a single portion of that had a chest, unless there's 1 hiding in the top. But I doubt it. I think I'm gonna have to excavate in order to get to the top, though. Oh, not worth it. But there is no chest there either. Lovely, and my cat wants in yet again. I'm gonna keep going. I would usually like log off for sure at this point, but sunk cost fallacy. I would usually log off at this point, but sunk cost fallacy. We're halfway there. It can't be that long. It probably is gonna be. It can't be that long to get the rest, right? Especially if I find more fortresses. I'm in like way new chunks at this point. Which is actually probably why my computer's mad at me too. I don't know if these give ancient debris. I imagine not. But I'm not fully sure of that. And these guys aren't too bad leveled either. Just check chest. There is debris. Okay, these are good. Whew. Jeez. Yeah, that's how you die. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. That's how you die. We run. Okay. We're fine for a moment. We have to do this a lot more carefully. I am throwing those 3 in. 65, right? We have to do this a lot more carefully. There's a guy over there. They're only 200 health, but the Wither Skellies are still shockingly fast. And the blazes are still blazes, even if it's only 200 health. That means all of these enemies have a worse health than the Ender Dragon that I fought right now. Because the Ender Dragon is 200 health, yeah? And the Warden is 500. I don't want to even think about how bad going against a Warden would be in this mod pack. This certainly makes the bosses of mass destruction way harder as well. Which, great. Because that was super easy, and I'm kind of upset at how easy it ended up being. Granted, I have ridiculous mods, so that's very much so skewed. But nonetheless. Because I got rid of all those guys in combined 5 minutes. I think it'd be better to try and go lower, not higher, yeah? We're still doing pretty good right now. If needed, I might throw down my Waystone. Or Warpstone. I want to throw my Warpstone in my hotbar, but I'm also very conflicted on doing that. Simply because I don't want to die with it and struggle to get back here. Because the backpack I've been using is actually an Ender Chest backpack. It connects back to an actual Ender Chest, which I have one placed at spawn and in my base. So, for whatever reason... For whatever reason, I can access everything in there, and we never lose anything. It's not as much space to work with, but it is a decent amount. I think that chest might have been really lucky. That's the only ancient debris we've gotten here. But there are so many chests plentifully around this place. I feel like, despite it being a low raid, it is fairly worth it. Not to mention the XP you get with it, as long as you're careful. It all depends on you being careful. More into damage. Damage has been my saving grace right now, and I'm gonna continue to trust in it. Yeah. There's a way into that room, I know it. I just don't know how. This way. No netherite scrap or debris there. And I already checked that guy. That's a new room. I can't get over to that room, though. It looked like it said these guys were 75 for a second there. Which checks out for the 200 health. About 200 health seems to be about level 50, typically. No. Are those gonna have blaze rods in the chest? Because I'm pretty sure I didn't place that. Whoo, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. Golden apple that. I'm not gonna survive if I don't. No. There we go. Why does it do that sometimes? Do they have a dodge or something? Golden apple again. Okay. I misfired so many of those. This is why we do extra long range combat. Because the moment I go against multiple wither skellies, we're like dead. Unless I can't actively see the guy and I have to go close to even fight him. He dropped a soul star. I saw that. Just knock him off the side of the building. Why not? Okay. No. We're at the bottom layer, so that doesn't affect me. No. There was... your thing. There we go. There's lower levels I feel inclined to at least attempt. Hey, you got above average. Nice. I love when people randomly find the horse Plinko again. Sincerely, I absolutely adore it. Oh, there's a chest up here. Okay, it's just you two in here. I care more about the two blazes, because this guy can't quite touch me ever. Ah, 29. Stop while you're ahead, man. Not the Gamba habit. There we go. That guy was so low. Oh. At least the blazes aren't as bad because it's just fire, not wither. Wither is far worse. Oh, 62 out of 100. Stop while you're ahead. Stop while you're ahead. Just chill out and vibe with that. You know, I'm gonna break through so I can get that. Against my better judgment. $80 or bust. Okay. You enjoy that. Oh, hi, sir. Thankfully, you're not easily recognizing that I'm even here. Golden apple, I'll take that. It's only gave me those 3 pieces of ancient debris. This almost feel... Hi, are we cuddling? Oh, yeah, he's coming to cuddle. No, he's just checking things out. Okay, what are we doing? What are we doing? This is not the time for you to be messing about. You do not need to be up there. You do not need to be up there. Are you just... Come sit down. I much prefer you just actively sitting down in one spot. Oh, you got over 80! There we go. That's much better. Thank you. I'm gonna move my mouse a little bit out of the way. Then you're fine. Okay. He has decided to sit here. He only does this in the heat of summer, and he never does it any other time of year. He's a very... Yeah, I see. Yeah, I'm looking at you. He's a very fluffy cat that only insists on cuddling with me in the middle of summer, and I don't understand why this is the case. I can still type Fortress. Good. I still have enough of the keyboard to type the first 4 letters of Fortress. There's a new one over here. Hopefully new, anyhow. It should be. I haven't loaded in this area yet. Also, something adorable Dusty does. Let me see if I can show this real accurately. If you look where his tail is, it's actually completely curled around my arm. He consistently does this. This is not like a one-off thing. He will purposely curl his tail around my arm. And it's the cutest thing he does, I swear. I absolutely adore it because it's just so adorable. I realize I completely, removed the compass from my inventory. I completely missed the place. Completely missed the fortress. It's right here. Alright, how get down? Where stairs? Because I don't care about anything but your basement. I really don't care about anything but your basement. Can you just tell me where your basement is, please? Not this corner. Hey, Phelan Bird. Hi, welcome. Is it this one? What? Nope. I don't know what level that guy is. I don't know what level that guy is. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. Okay. Hi, hi. Please, I just want netherite. I just want netherite. How many do we have now? I can't do math. I think we're at 67, 65, 67, something like that. So that's 28 plus 29 plus 8. 65, okay. Here we go. Boop, 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 nope, boop, boop, nope. None at all, okay. I just require netherite. In any where are you going? In any form, pretty please, nothing. He's decided he wants the chair. I have a second chair in my room that I keep right next to my desk, and it has his blanket on it. This is literally his blanket that I bought specifically for him, so he has somewhere that's something that's his, especially for when I'm gone. Or when I'm like out on trips, that is. And if I'm leaving the house for a couple of days. And he absolutely adores it. I specifically got it, like, nice fluffy blanket for him. He loves it. And so I have it, like, smooshed in to the back of this chair. Or into the seat of this chair, that is. And he adores it. It is his favorite place to be, honestly. He's either curled up somewhere near me in his cat tree, or this chair. See, there's like no chest. I'm almost tempted to go back to the other fortress thing that I don't know what it is, but it kind of looks like a fortress, and it's the same spawns and loot as a fortress. Because at least I was getting more chests that way, and so theoretically, a higher chance of netherite. But also, I know for a fact the fortresses do give me netherite. And this one has already given me netherite. I'm pretty sure, unless my memory is that bad. But I'm pretty sure it's already given us some, so I doubt it's going to give us more. I'm thinking of the last place. No, I'm thinking of the last place. I'm not actually thinking of this. We've just gone on a search. I've already done all this. I don't think this one gave me anything, unless I'm absolutely incorrect, which I could 100% be. Okay, I just want this ancient debris, this netherite. That's all I want. Really, that's all I want.
You got debated. You got debated.
Alright. Is there any black spirals nearby? You just got faded. You just got faded. I forgot how long the song goes on sometimes. There it goes. At least there's a black spiral close to this fort. Yeah, there it is. Close to the fortress, so maybe we can loot this guy. Oh, there's this thing. Might as well try. Because all I have to do is get rid of this. That's a cool banner, and that's some XP. I'll take that. Add to my banner collection for some... I don't know why I've started this. I don't think I've even shown like half of the footage of me collecting banners in any of the videos. I think it might have shown up in the supercut, but I couldn't say for certain. There's a chest right there that doesn't have my ancient debris. I'm gonna continue mining on the outside of this instead of the inside, because I can actually get a better idea of what's going on in each of these. And if I actually want to deal with it or not. Because, like, yeah, I don't particularly feel like dealing with this one. There doesn't seem to be a chest in there. And that's the bottom of it. Okay, wonderful. No! Oh, I was a block away. And there's another one on this side, right? Is there another one after that? Yes, there is. Is there another one after that? Yeah, there is. Okay. We got actually a couple to deal with from here. Hey, I'm just gonna... Don't mind me, by the way. Just don't mind what I'm doing. You keep doing a definitely fantastic job of protecting all your loot. You're doing great. You're doing great, sweetheart. I'm just gonna keep mining for no discernible reason right next to your fortress. Okay? Okay. Come on. I just want to get this stupid debris and go to bed. There's 2 chests in here. Come on. No. Come on. No. Why? Why must you be such a way? You so... Oh. Well. Yeah, that's a bad. I'm gonna say right now, that's a bad. Nah. I'm just gonna go over here to this one instead. I don't have blocks. I don't have blocks. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. Was in here? Worth a look? Yes, it is. That's an amazing chest. But I don't need any of that. I don't need any of that either. Have you heard of this thing? It's called Ancient Debris. I need that, if you could. If you will, that's what I need. Can we get some of that? No obvious blazes in this level, and no chests either. Block too short. Blazes, but an obvious chest that I can't reach. And it doesn't have anything. Lovely. So send. Just too short. Anything? Nothing. And this is not the top level. There's another level to go. Oh, those are brutes. No, those are brutes. I mean, at least I could do this. That's fine. Lovely. That was great. Okay. Chest. Nothing! Yeah, the black spirals are unfortunately a heavy hit or miss. Because you can never quite tell when they're going to be good or when they're going to be horrible to you. Let me out. 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 Thank you. Okay. Hi, goodbye, everybody. Actually, do you have any chests at the top? Because they can have chests on top. That was right into that guy. He dealt 7 hearts. That was not a smart decision. We're gonna be the first one to say that was not a smart decision. There's a chest over here. Still nada. Gonna keep the netherrack just in case I need to use it again. Gonna see, can I go underneath and then go into the spiral that way? No. No. Not easily, no. Alright, at least got me part of the way there. Doesn't look like there's any enemies. We try. Nothing. Wait. Nothing. And my computer's still screaming. Now, obvious chest. It's a piece of scrap. I'll take it. That's 66 out of fucking... That's 66 out of 120. That's great. We love that. Yeah. Yeah. It's... I love it. It's great. I like more. I haven't gotten any in the past... I've gotten one in the past 15 minutes. That is not a good rate. I need another 6D. 6D. We're at the bottom. Okay. It's past 10 p.m. I'm usually off of stream by now. I almost feel like we need to do another stream of this. How do I manage that, though? Because I think at this point, I absolutely have to do another stream of this. It is way too late. And I need to figure out a better strategy for going about the netherite. I can't stream... What can I stream? I have to, like, seriously think this through. Because my usual stream days are Sundays and Wednesdays, and I want this out next Sunday. So I gotta do it somewhere... Last mine. I don't want to mine it is the problem. Because that's just boring. I'm just going mining. When I'm looting it, there's like some balance of dealing with the mobs. I still don't know if a pipeline will give me any netherite. I still don't know. And the only reason I haven't checked is because of those mofos. There's the guy. Because these guys have, in addition to being blazes, they have totems. They have several of them. Every single one of these guys does. There we go. But this is the one, like, major treasure room they have. There is a piece of scrap there. That's a lot. I should have come here for redstone. I need to remember that in the future. Jeez, look at all... I'm taking the gunpowder. That's a lot of redstone. I'll take gunpowder. I'll take gunpowder. Oh, there's a door to this. I didn't have to, like, break in. Anvil. Just a bunch of random stuff. I think the biome kind of messed up the space. I think it's meant to be like this. That seems to make a lot more sense. So it did give me one piece of scrap. That's 67 now, yeah? Yeah, I'm not dealing with these guys for a long term, no. So if I see that specific room exposed of the pipeline, then that's decently good. I seriously need to experiment with this mod pack and see which structures will actually get us some ancient debris. Because theoretically, all the nether structures have a good chance. Back to work, best of luck. Alrighty, bye-bye. Because theoretically, all the nether structures have a good chance of giving me some. It's just a matter of will it with enough attempts. And the nether fortress still seems to be the best rate. But that's only if I get the actual chest rooms. It's still fully dependent on luck and spawns. I am having to deal with the enemies, but I've gotten good enough at handling those guys that it's like, should I just go mining for it? Because no matter what, I'm gonna be dealing with something like this. And while I'm almost at 70 and I started with like 1 or 2, that's over the course of 2 hours. I'm not going another 2 hours for maybe a chance to get enough. And then I'm also gonna have to sit there and wait for all of it to smell. So, I know we'll definitely have to do another stream. I don't know when. I might have to do a couple impromptu streams across a couple days, depending on the time I have. I want to say just like straight up Monday, but I think I have plans Monday. What has happened here? Is this a mine shaft in it? I don't... The mine shaft keeps ruining this place, I swear. I'll take the XP bottle. Anything? Anything? Any... And it removed my other chest. I need those chests, damn it. It's broken the rest of this area, so might as well just not bother. It is a conundrum. I know there has to be a third stream to this. I didn't want there to be, but at this point it has to be. Remove those. No netherite. It never has any, but I still try. I am just like fully focused on trying to deck chests. I have not a lot to say on this anymore. Bloom. Bloom. Thank you. No. Nah. So I want to avoid mining for this. Because the Destructor Hammer, I think, is like the ultimate goal for mining in general. Because it's just funny to have a netherite. I could have made this diamond. I could have had us getting diamonds, 3 blocks of diamonds instead. I could have made... I have to go through Drip Mod. I could have made this out of diamonds, but I want to do the ridiculous netherite one, because I've only done it 2 times previously and regretted it both of them. I could have gone for diamonds. I still can go for diamonds. But we're so deep into this, I need to do the netherite one. It's just a bit of a struggle of actually getting that netherite. Because it's such a ridiculous amount. The other thing I'm thinking of is bastions. But is that reliable netherite? Is that a good source of ingots and ancient debris? I would think so. But it also depends on which one I get. Because I'm pretty sure it's just listed under bastion and not specific bastions. Bastion Remnant and Bastion Underground in the overworld. So yeah, they're all Bastion Remnants. That I can barely read that. No worries if you can't read that on screen. I don't know why it does this, but that does say Bastion Remnant. So all of them are underneath one structure code. So it fully depends on which one I get. Because the only one I really know how to confidently handle is the treasure room. Bridge, as far as I'm aware, doesn't have good loot, and with the Ascendant mobs, I do not trust small spaces with overpowered mobs. Unless we're really, really close to spawn. I think I already went through this area, too. We will try one Bastion Remnant. And we'll see how well that fares. Because if that fares very well consistently... Because even nether fortresses aren't giving me consistently anymore. Because for a little bit there, they were amazing, and now it's so-so. This way. I just need something that will give me netherite consistently that isn't mining. Because I could absolutely get this done in like 10, 20 minutes if we went mining, but that's not the point. The point of this is to test the mod pack to its fullest. This is treasure room. I know how to handle this. I just dig through the center and drop down. I'm confident enough to do that. We can handle that much. Make this a little wider. So we did get lucky with that draw. But it's also a matter of me getting down there without getting hurt. That guy's stuck. You won't cross that tiny gap. And can I get down there without getting attacked by a brute? You're not a brute. I'm fine with dealing with the crossbow guys. And they're also still about 200 health. Boop, 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 boop. At least there's also doing that, which really helps me. There's the netherite ingot, and there's debris. I'm gonna assume that bastions are gonna be the way to go. Because I need 30 ingots total. Hold on. Let's actually sit down and smell all this out and see how many ingots I can make right now. I'm pretty far out, so let's just go back home because I have multiple furnaces back there. And that'll make it just a wee bit easier for me. So spread those across. There we go. This would be a little faster if I had blast furnaces, but I don't, so. We can just throw the excess netherrack in there. So that's 3. That's enough to make the mini netherite hammer, which I need to even make an impact core. But definitely don't have enough for the full 3 netherite blocks that I need. That's for absolute certain. There's 6. I might have enough for 1. I don't think I have enough for 2. But if I go to Bastion Remnants and I'm consistently getting a single piece of netherite, like a full ingot from each Bastion Remnant, then that will take less than 30 Bastions. And I will confidently stay up to do that tonight. That's gonna take a minute of mining, but that's a grab and go situation most of the time. I have enough for 1 block. And I think a singular 2 ingots. Yeah. In 2.5 hours, I got 11 netherite ingots, which is almost halfway. Because I need 30 ingots total. Because it's 9 ingots per block. I can make 1 block right now. If I hit 19 bastions, and every single one of those bastions gives me an ingot. Even if 18 of those give me an ingot, and every other... Even if I think like 16 of those give me an ingot as well as a piece of ancient scrap or ancient debris, we can get that. This will take like even 15, I think would do. So I think we can actually confidently, I will continue to stay up for this because I want to get this done. I forgot I had more ingots in my inventory. Okay, never mind. Hold on. Hold on, I'm completely wrong. Even less than that, actually. I forgot I had ingots in my inventory that I didn't grab. We need 11. We need 11 ingots. I think we can get that done in a dozen bastions. Because we have 2 blocks right now. Hold on, check on the spaghetti. The spaghetti was cooking the whole time I was doing that. Hold on, spaghetti. Gotta clean up the spaghetti. Accidentally left it on the stove. Left the stove on. Okay. Let's actually refill my arrows while I'm here. And just steal all those. Every last one of them. There we go. Beautiful. And I'm back to 4 stacks of 999. Because that's what I need, apparently. Let's go back to the nether portal, and we'll start touring the bastions. Okay. I am confident we can do this in the next half hour, if not like 45 minutes. Because this should not take us long. Closest bastion, 200 away. This way. If I can actually get around the stupid terrain here. Where is it? This terrain is so horrible. There's like a complete cliffside here. Okay, there's a place here, but what kind is it? Is this bridge? Is this stupid bridge? Oh no, it's that like open side one, ain't it? Yeah, it's the open cliffside. Okay, this one's fine. I'm okay with this. I'm a-okay with this. I love how I just boing him around. Just boing. There you go. 36, I'm gonna upgrade my damage again. They're both kind of a little bit stuck over there. I want to make sure those brutes are dead before I even start getting any closer. Because it's very easy for them to get back up over to me. Especially the moments I start opening these chests. At least it looks like these are the only 2 guys really left to fight me. And both of them are dead. Okay. No netherite. 1 piece of scrap. That's fine by me because it was a really quick chest and that was easy to grab. So let's go away quite a bit and try for a new one. I haven't really gone directly east, so we're gonna do that for a little bit. Oh, there's another bastion right here. It's bridge. I know there's like a couple chests on top, but they aren't too good either. I hate this one. There's never any good loot at it. We're gonna keep going. At least bastions are consistent enough like that that you can reliably find them a lot of the time. I'm surprised someone hasn't done like a bastion overhaul mod yet. That sounds like something someone would definitely do. I feel like there are like low-key ones, but I'm surprised there aren't any super popular ones. I'm surprised Young hasn't done one yet. Young, if you're unaware, is a pretty popular structure mod creator. And like the desert pyramids I go through, I've gotten rid of the strongholds because I prefer the repurposed strongholds at this point. The desert temple and then the end island are the major ones I have of his. Let's go for a new bastion. 200 this way. Where is it? Oh, I should see it by now. Oh, is it under me? Hold on. Oh, there's another one of these guys. I don't care, though. Oh, it's right here. Okay. It's an open side. I don't know the name for this one. I just know it as, like, being open on the side. Yep. Oh, there's 2 sides this time. Hello, everybody. Can you please... I think I just knocked him completely off. I mean, that works, too. That one's just stuck in a corner, though. There it goes. Honk. Oh, you just fell all the way down. Thank you. Yeah, both of you do that. Thank you. Let's get you as far away as I can. I know there's there's another guy right there. Are you just gonna walk off as well? No? Okay. There he goes. And these 2 got stuck in a hole. So I'm gonna happily take the XP from them. If it will let me. Which it doesn't seem like it will. Quickly checking through chests, being mindful of the piglin that wants to come after me and can still. A 1 health. There you go. Thank you. Lots of golden carrots. Pig step again. But no netherite that time. So I think the treasure room is absolutely the best one, obviously. It's treasure room. But it's a very literal thing, ain't it? We had the southeast nether waystone that I left at a black spiral. Let's see if there's any bastions close by to this. 150, yeah. Bastions are a very common thing, thankfully. Yeah, there it is. Okay. What kind are we... Are we also open on the side? Are we an open guy? We're open. I think I can confidently land right there. Yeah. Which is just perfect to snag some toes. If it will let me actually see him. There you go. Can you see me, sir? Can you guys see me? Thank you. Oh, there's another chest right there I can snag, probably. Well. I seem still walking around there, so I don't want to just fly on over. Yeah, there we go. 71. I have to wait for this guy to come back around. There we go. I can confidently steal from that chest, but there's nothing in it for me. Grab a singular piece of ancient debris. You know what? I'll take it. So that's 2. I need 11, so 44. I need 44 more. Let me head northeast. Or wait, we're southeast? What? What? Isn't this southwest? Why do I have it marked as southeast? This is southwest. I don't know why I have that marked as southeast. Okay. Let's head northeast, which is back towards spawn. We should be far enough away that there'll be a closer bastion. Yeah. There's one over here. I would have missed if I kept going northwest. Where? It says it's 40 away. So where's the bastion? I'm supposedly right above it. Where's the bastion? Where is this thing? There it is. Is it bridge? Oh, it's bridge. Or no, it isn't. It's open on the side, boy. With a little dungeon right there. Yeah, there's a chest over there. Hi, sir. We're just gonna slowly, but surely, just tackle him like this. You shot me once during all of that. That's kind of sad. There's brutes there, but they were a little stuck, and they're gonna stay a little stuck if my punch continues to work. There we go. And then, yeah, this is bridge. But there is a few open chests for the grabbing. That's got nothing for me in it. I swore I saw another chest that I liked the look of. Oh, there's one over here. That's what it was. Nothing. Okay. We continue heading. This is northeast. I want... Oh, no, I wanted northeast, not northwest. So it's not super reliable. But if I find a treasure room, then it is really good. I'm almost tempted to go for those pipelines because that seemed to give me a reliable one. But I don't think any structure is going to reliably give the best ingot in the game. I think the only way you could reliably get netherite is by mining. And even then, it's a kind of rare occurrence. Not necessarily so, but enough so, you know? If that makes any sense, which I doubt it did. It says it's that way, but I have an immovable object in my path. There we go. Nope, never mind. I'm just gonna mine through. I'm just gonna mine through. I'll hit it eventually. Unless I happen to pass by it. I think I'm passing by it. It says 48 that way. Huh. Armor? We're good. Yeah, there's a large difference between... That's just... Yep, that's the bastion. That's straight up the bastion. Okay, what was I missing? How am I supposed to get around that? Is this bastion... Is it like straight up in the walls? No, it's not. It's not. It's just kind of low down. So, how do I get over there? How do I manage that? This way. Why was this bastion so hard to get to? For no particular reason. Yeah, there it is. For no particular reason, really. Wasn't I here? I'm pretty sure I was literally just here. I am confident I was just here. Yeah, okay. We go to a new place. Will you try something? No. Ooh, you do not randomly rocket in the basalt deltas. It still wants to send me to that one. There's a pipeline here. Can I find that really good room? No, I think it's on the other side of this. Yeah, the pipeline ends there. Does it even have that room is another question, because I don't know if that's a reliable spawn. So I see this, and it ends here, and it doesn't seem to have any actual loot to it. So we're gonna carry on. Nope. Still not a new one. Okay. We're at 500 away. Give me a new bastion. Please. New bastion. It still wants to send me there. Have we been here? It doesn't seem like it. And this could have been from before I was just busting into the sides of these. I need to, like, start leaving something so I can recognize when I've been to somewhere before. Because unfortunately, a lot of these look the exact same. And I'll only know once I check any actual loot. I have a feeling I've been to this one before. Or I could be completely BSing this. I can't even tell because I only steal netherite. I just need 11 ingots. And I don't even have enough to make one more ingot right now. Because I've only gotten like 2 more pieces? Yeah. I've only gotten 2 more pieces of debris or scrap. I need 40 more. And I feel like that has to be its own stream. It is so... It's almost 11 p.m. Like, I said the midnight thing as a joke. Because I don't stay up till midnight. I'm not a person that really does that a lot. I like having a good 9 hours of sleep. That helps me function well. Bastion, please. It still wants to send me all the way out there. I'm not even sure if I can use something like... How did I manage that? I'm not even sure if I can use somewhere like Chunk Base to tell me exactly where the bastions are, because I don't know if it line with... Yeah, we've already been over in this area. I don't know if that align with modded. Because if I could do that, then I'd head straight to treasure ones, because Chunk Base can tell you exactly where the treasure bastions are. I don't know. I really don't. It's not giving me any new bastions either, unfortunately. Probably helps that a lot of these... I don't think these modded... I don't think those modded biomes spawn anything but... whatever is exactly for the biome. There's one 500 this way, but I have a feeling we've already been to it. But I'm willing to give it a shot. And I don't want to do this off camera either. Oof. I've done everything except for like 2 hours of skeleton AFK on camera. I'm going to continue to do so. Have I been to this bash? I feel like I have. I feel like I have, but I could be absolutely incorrect and mistaking it for somewhere else. Oh yeah, it's the stupid bridge. Yeah, I've been to this exact one. Okay. This has been going on for too long. I need to experiment with a mod pack. And find out where I can get netherite. It's gonna be hard regardless, but this is not working. I've barely gotten a few pieces in the last hour. Which is not good in the slightest. So it'll definitely have to be another stream. To double check. I think I might have... I doubt I can do Monday. I'm trying to think of when the next stream can be. Because I can't do it all this weekend, nor Wednesday, unless we do an early Wednesday, which I could pull off, actually. I can reliably do that one. So I think we'll have to do an early Wednesday. Yeah. Alright, we'll have to do an early Wednesday stream because I cannot get it done right now. It is way too late. I want to be in bed. And I think Dusty wants me to be in bed too. He's still asleep on the chair next to me. Alright. Well, I was hoping we'd get all of it, but not quite. We got a remarkable... We're 2/3 of the way there. Almost 2/3, because I have 2 blocks, but I need 3 blocks and 3 ingots. I need 30 total, and I got 18, which ain't bad. It's over half. It's almost 2/3. But I need to do another stream of this. I need to do a little research. We'll do another stream of this next Wednesday. It won't be a long one, it'll be just a quick one in the afternoon. Because I need to get this done, and I refuse to do off-camera work. Aside from, you know, research. Because that's kind of necessary at this point. Anyhow, I'm dragging this on. I want to go to bed. Only thing stopping me is myself. That'll be it. Thank you all for joining me. I'll see you next week.